Welcome to Tech Blueprint, a window that lets you know the latest technology news in the world. In September 2025, a warehouse at a semiconductor equipment company in Tokyo was piled high with shipping invoices, each one carefully scrutinized by customs officers. This scene has become a regular occurrence since Japan abruptly imposed export controls on semiconductor equipment to China in 2023. Initially restricting 23 types of equipment, Japan expanded the list to hundreds by 2025, completely disrupting the global chip industry's supply chain. Unlike the US blockade, which primarily targets high-end chips, Japan's controls directly target the very fabric of the supply chain. In March 2023, Japan added 23 types of semiconductor manufacturing equipment, including heat treatment machines, cleaning equipment, and etching tools, to its export control list. These items are the cornerstone of everyday chips used in cars, mobile phones, and other applications. Tokyo Electron relies on the Chinese market for up to 40%, and the controls caused its exports to China to plummet by 15% in 2023. In 2024, Japan added CMOS sensors and quantum computer components to its controls, and in 2025, it added restrictions on key materials such as photoresist and high-purity hydrogen fluoride. Photoresist is known as the chip template. Japan's JSR and Shin-Etsu Chemical hold a 99% monopoly on the global EUV photoresist market, while China's domestic production rate is less than 1%. Japanese companies have created a triple barrier, through patent barriers, holding 45.5% of the world's EUV photoresist patents, equipment data binding, deep cooperation with ASML lithography equipment, an industry certification monopoly, dominance of semi-standards. The impact of Japanese regulations was immediate. SMIC's 7 nm process production line was at risk of suspension due to a photoresist supply shortage, and Yangtze Memory Technologies' 232-layer flash memory production was also impacted. Data shows that by 2024, China's self-sufficiency rate for KrF, RF-grade photoresist will be only 5%, the domestic production rate for 12-inch large silicon wafers will be approximately 20%, and its dependence on Japan for high-purity hydrogen fluoride will exceed 60%. To maintain operations, some domestic wafer fabs have been forced to obtain Japanese equipment through Southeast Asian re-export trade, causing costs to soar by over 30%. Japan's semiconductor equipment exports to China plummeted from 18% in 2021 to 7% in 2024, while China's exports of electric vehicle battery materials to Japan increased by 42% during the same period, highlighting the asymmetric nature of the supply chain. Under pressure, Chinese semiconductor companies are accelerating their technological development. Nanjing University of Science and Technology's RF photoresist, developed through a molecular baking method, broke through patent barriers, increasing the yield rate from 89% to 93.7% in mass production of 50 nm flash memory chips. Wuhan Taizuwei's T150A photoresist, tested on SMIC's 28 nm production line, boosted chip yield from 89% to 93.7%, reaching a maximum resolution of 120 nm, comparable to similar Japanese products. Remarkable progress has also been made in the equipment sector. AMEC's 5 nm lithography system has entered the SMIC verification phase, and Shanghai Microelectronics' 28 nm lithography system is scheduled for mass production in 2025. By the first half of 2025, domestic equipment will have exceeded 60% market share in the low and mid-range markets, even achieving a partial breakthrough in 7 nm production lines. To bypass traditional technological paths, China has turned to third-generation semiconductors. Materials such as silicon carbide substrates and gallium nitride, which circumvent silicon-based sanctions, have become a key focus of policy. Advanced packaging technologies such as chiplets and 3D stacking are listed as breakthrough areas, and domestically produced advanced packaging is expected to reach 25% by 2025. Japan's regulations not only impact China, but also accelerate the restructuring of the global semiconductor landscape. The US-led Chips for Alliance is promoting the de-Chinization of the supply chain, while the EU passed a €50 billion chip bill to support domestic production capacity. Germany's Zeiss is accelerating the development of EUV mirrors to replace Japanese technology. Japanese companies are paying a price. Tokyo Electron's first quarter 2025 financial report shows that export controls on China caused its stock price to plummet 12% in a single week, allowing South Korea's Samsung to seize $2.8 billion in orders. A more far-reaching impact lies in China's retaliatory measures, imposing export controls on key minerals such as gallium and germanium. Japan relies on China for 87% of its gallium, a material vital to new energy vehicles and 5G equipment. The deep intertwining of the Chinese and Japanese semiconductor industries makes decoupling costly. Japanese semiconductor material companies import large quantities of rare earths and other raw materials from China. If the supply chain is disrupted, Japan's domestic production capacity will face a raw material crisis. China has invested 344 billion yuan through the third phase of the National Integrated Circuit Industry Investment Fund to support technological breakthroughs across the entire semiconductor industry chain. By 2024, China's semiconductor market size is expected to reach 1.8 trillion yuan, with the domestic content rate increasing from 12% in 2018 to 23%. In the three major links of IC design, manufacturing, and packaging and testing, the domestic content rates will reach 40%, 18%, and 25%, respectively. Core components such as valves and seals are the next key breakthrough areas. International cooperation has become another path forward. SMIC and Bosch of Germany jointly developed silicon carbide power devices to circumvent Japanese material restrictions. China has also launched WTO litigation challenging the legality of Japanese regulations, attempting to weaken the effectiveness of its technological blockade.